Welcome back to the Gamekeeper's Cottage Diaries. Welcome back to Gamekeeper's Cottage. It's the end of October, the last week, and I've finally found some time to actually get back to the UK and have a long weekend doing some work around here. So I'm going to start off with a little tour around the plot. As usual, won't be much of a tour, but let's just have a look. So we're here at the moment down by the stables, by what we were calling the gate hedge, because somewhere in there is a gate, although as you can see now the hedge has well developed, both from the plants that we planted a year ago or so now and other natural growth. And then as we turn around, we've got the usual hedge here, starting to look very autumnal. So we had a very nice crop of blackberries. I think in the last video I showed them to you. They have now obviously all gone. You can see it is very grey and autumnal at the moment as we turn around. And looking at the side of the stables, we've managed to keep this area, sorry for the plane noise, I think we're under the flight path today for once. So we've managed to keep this area a bit clearer. There are still a few nettles growing up against the edge of the stables, so we'll cut some of those back. But I'm hoping over the Christmas holidays to be able to get a chance to actually dig this all out a lot better. Then as we walk around towards the front of the house, we'll discuss that pile of wood in a minute. That's our firewood delivery. So my task for this morning will be to stack that out of the way in the dry. There's 1.2 cubic meters worth of wood there, which should last us a good couple of months, but we'll come back to that. Again, looking at this hedge, we still need to do a lot of cutting back of this to get it back to its reasonable size so that it's not overgrown. As you can see, the blackberries here as well have all died off. We do have one surviving little flower here, which I think looks like it's a cosmos. It must have self-seeded there from some of the many that we planted last year. Everything else is starting to die back, although there are still a few surviving flowers there. And then as we wander around towards the back garden, the hedge here has actually remained reasonably under control. We've managed to keep cutting that back. There is an area there that somehow got missed that needs a bit of cutting down. As you can see, there are still a lot of apples on the trees and a lot of them on the ground that are going to need cleaning up over the next day or two. They just keep falling down. And as we wander around further into the orchard, you can see more apples hanging off the trees there. As I said in the last video, we really need to cut back some of the limbs, particularly on this largest of the apple trees. And then we've got our couple of new additions to the orchard. So our apricot, which is starting to drop a few leaves, and our nectarine, which is again looking a bit sorry for itself, but it is losing its leaves for the winter, so hopefully that will survive over the winter and we'll get back to it in the new year. And then the final bit in this area, the raspberry bush, which, as you can see, we didn't actually get any raspberries off of it, but there are some flowers. I'm not sure what else it's going to do for the remainder of the year, as this is the first year we've had it, but we'll leave it be, and then in the new year we will cut it right back down so that it can grow afresh next year. And again, as you can see, more and more apples over in this tree in the back. And again, as we wander round into the actual back garden, the apples just seem to get everywhere. Not quite sure how they managed to fall this far away, but we'll tidy some of those up later. And then we've got 3 of our little hedging plants there that are continuing to establish themselves. I don't think we had any visitors into our little bug hotel, but we'll leave it there, and hopefully next year some of the bugs will find it. And then obviously on to the main hedge that we planted earlier in the year, back in the end of January. So as you can see, the plants are really starting to grow up now. The job I need to do over the next couple of days is to do a bit of weeding in this area, get rid of some of the grass that's growing up. We do have a few autumnal bulbs to plant, so some blueberries and some, not blueberries, some bluebells and some wild tulips and things like that, so I'll be planting those as well in amongst the hedge, so hopefully in a couple of years time, once they've established in the spring, we will have some nice flowers at the base of the hedge as the hedge grows. And again, in this area, this bit, which is actually part of one of the dog roses, has gone absolutely crazy, and it's bending over, but it is probably about 7 foot long, this particular stalk, so I will probably try and straighten that up a bit to keep it within the hedge area. I don't really want to cut it back at the moment. And then the last side of the hedge, again totally overgrown at the base, but I would like to try and get that dug out. But as you can see, the plants are growing, they all look reasonably fit, particularly again this dog rose here. The dog roses seem to have done very well. This last little bit, this dog rose was the weakest of the lot, but I'm hoping it's going to survive. It's not looking as healthy as the others, but we'll give it a chance over the next year or so, and if not, we'll remove it and fill in with something else. And then finally for the tour, the lounge bed, where we've still got these salvias with their little red and white blooms on them, and as I can see over there, still, you probably can't see it, but there is still a bee wandering around collecting some nectar even this time of the year. And then as usual, this final bed we haven't really done much with. So these are all mature plants that have been there for years. But anyway, that's enough of the plot tour. I'm off now to go and stack all of those logs that you saw earlier. Okay, so I'm back at the newly delivered pile of firewood. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, there is 1.2 cubic meters of firewood here, and I need to stack that in our little log store So we've got a few logs in there at the moment, which I will take out and put at the top, so we'll use those first. But the big question is, how much of it is actually going to fit in here? So leave your guesses in the comments. Will we fit all 1.2 cubic meters into here, or are we going to have some left over? Right, so the first step of the log stacking is to clear out the few old logs that we've got left over from last winter, and we'll use those up first, and then I'll start putting the other new logs in, and we'll see how many we can get in here. Okay, so that's the log store empty, and this little pile of about 15 logs is what we had left over from last winter's logs that we were actually buying in small bags, one at a time. So this is the first year that we've actually bought a large lot of logs in one go, so let's see how it goes. Okay, so I've got the wheelbarrow ready, and it's time to fill up with the first load to walk round to the log store. And off we go with the first load. Okay, time to start stacking in the log store. Okay, so that's the first wheelbarrow full into the log store, and it's taken up about that much space, so don't forget to let me know whether you think we're going to fit them all in or not. For those of you who guessed that I wouldn't fit all the logs in the store, you are right. Felix is here for size, but that is how much we have left, and they'll be going in the stables. All that remains is for me to thank you for watching, and to ask that if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and join us in the comments below to help the channel grow. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.